In 2008, the world ended quietly, not with war or fire, but with numbers. It was a financial crisis that unfolded with a deceptive calm, yet its impact was profound and far-reaching, setting the stage for future economic tremors. Banks collapsed, markets bled, and overnight, the system showed its real face: fragile, digital, and hungry. The subprime mortgage crisis, fueled by predatory lending and excessive speculation, exposed the inherent vulnerabilities of a global financial network that was interconnected and dangerously leveraged. They called it the Great Recession, a term that barely scratches the surface of the systemic failures it represented. I call it the first tremor before the fall, a stark warning of what happens when unchecked greed and flawed policies converge. In 2008, greed was legal. Banks gambled with money they didn't have, packaging bad loans and selling them as gold. These were not just risky investments. They were toxic assets, deliberately obscured and marketed to unsuspecting investors, creating a ticking time bomb within the financial system. Wall Street built castles out of sand and called them investments, which crumbled when the tide came in. The housing bubble, inflated by easy credit and speculative fervor, burst with devastating consequences, leading to a wave of foreclosures and a collapse in property values across the nation. The average person lost their home, their savings, and their belief that the system works. Families who had played by the rules found themselves underwater, their dreams shattered by a crisis they did not create, but for which they paid the ultimate price. The banks, however, were bailed out while we were sold out. Trillions of dollars in taxpayer money were injected into failing financial institutions, ostensibly to prevent a total collapse. Yet the relief for ordinary citizens was minimal and often too late. That's the truth they won't put in the textbooks. They saved the machine, not the man. The focus was on preserving the financial infrastructure, not on protecting the millions of individuals whose lives were upended by the crisis. After the crash, they said, never again. But instead of fixing the system, they upgraded the illusion. Regulations were introduced, but the underlying issues of moral hazard and systemic risk were never truly addressed, merely papered over with new financial instruments and policies. They printed money, inflated confidence, and turned debt into digital faith, and faith into currency. Quantitative easing became the new norm, flooding the market with liquidity and creating an artificial sense of stability, while pushing the true cost of the crisis further into the future. The 2010s became a decade of distraction. Tech stocks soared, crypto rose from the ashes, and people forgot what collapse felt like. The rapid growth of the tech sector and the emergence of cryptocurrencies diverted attention from the unresolved structural problems within the global economy. But under the surface, the same disease was still spreading: debt, greed, and artificial growth. The lessons of 2008 were quickly forgotten, replaced by a renewed appetite for risk and a reliance on unsustainable economic models, setting the stage for another potential downer. Fast forward to now, 2026 looms on the horizon, with interest rates climbing. Economists like Fred Foldvary have pointed to recurring 18-year real estate cycles, suggesting that another significant economic downturn could be on the horizon, mirroring the patterns of the past. Global debt is at $315 trillion, higher than ever in recorded history. This unprecedented level of debt, accumulated by governments, corporations, and individuals, creates a precarious financial landscape, making the global economy highly susceptible to shocks. The dollar's strength is illusionary, backed by promises that can't be kept. The reliance on fiat currency, unbacked by tangible assets, makes its value vulnerable to inflation and the erosion of trust, especially in times of economic uncertainty. The same formula that cracked the world in 2008 is back, bigger, digital, and global. The interconnectedness of the modern financial system means that a crisis in one sector or region can rapidly cascade across the entire globe, amplified by digital speed and complexity. But this time, there's no safety net, because in 2026, there's no money left to print. The tools used to mitigate the 2008 crisis, such as massive bailouts and quantitative easing, may no longer be viable options, leaving the global economy exposed to unprecedented risks. The next collapse won't start on Wall Street. It'll start in your phone. The shift to a fully digital economy means that the points of vulnerability have moved from physical trading floors to the digital networks that underpin our daily lives. Digital banks, AI trading, crypto leverage, and algorithmic debt. One glitch, one panic, one spark, and the entire digital economy implodes in seconds. The speed and automation of modern finance mean that a crisis could unfold with terrifying rapidity, leaving little time for intervention. Credit freezes, payments stop, and grocery shelves go empty in days. The immediate consequences of a digital financial collapse would be a breakdown of essential services, leading to widespread panic and a struggle for basic necessities. The new panic isn't about losing money, it's about losing access. In a world where transactions are increasingly digital, the inability to access your funds, even if they technically exist, can be just as devastating as losing them entirely. In 2008, people still used cash. They still had paper, gold, gardens, and faith in community. These tangible assets and social networks provided a buffer against the economic shock, offering alternative means of exchange and support. In 2026, the world is fully wired, dependent on screens, signals, and systems. Our reliance on digital infrastructure for everything from communication to commerce makes us incredibly vulnerable to any disruption in these systems. When those fail, most won't know how to survive a single week. The skills and resources needed to navigate a world without digital connectivity have largely been lost, leaving many unprepared for a return to more basic forms of survival. 2008 was a rehearsal. 2026 is opening night. The previous crisis offered a glimpse into the fragility of our financial systems, but the next one promises to be far more comprehensive and disruptive, impacting every aspect of modern life. When the numbers fall, the only wealth that remains is what you can touch, grow, and share. In a post-collapse scenario, the true value will lie in tangible assets and practical skills that can sustain life and foster community resilience. Herbs, water, food, skills, community. That's the real currency of the future. These are the fundamental elements that will determine survival and prosperity when the digital economy falters, emphasizing self-sufficiency and mutual aid. The collapse isn't coming. It's already in motion. Prepare accordingly. The signs are clear, the patterns are repeating, and the time to act is now by building resilience and focusing on what truly matters beyond the digital facade.